It's Teens Time with Chichi. It's been an interesting season. Remember, I told you earlier that this show is all about, this season especially, is all about talking about things that nobody wants to talk about. The society, they're doing, shh, don't talk about it. The family is saying, don't ever mention it. Don't ever even talk about it. But this is the season where we will talk about some of those things that are still there in our society. Nobody wants to handle, but they are almost ruining things for us. Somebody has to talk about it. Let me play the bad cop and talk about it, especially for the safety of our teenagers. Today's show is one of those days that we will talk about very controversial issues. Very, very, I mean very. By the time I start off, you will know why. This is Teens Time with Chichi. My name is Chichi Umesaka, and you know how the show rolls is all about teenagers and their welfare. And also parents are not left out. We will learn one or two things together. You know, I'm a parent. Yeah. So join me after the break. Let's talk to our guest. Don't go nowhere. Stay glued.
Okay, hello, my name is Raphael.
Hello, my name is Ezebere.
Should teenagers be introduced to family planning and contraceptives?
And I think yes, they should be introduced to family planning so they can know what to expect and what not.
I believe teenagers should be introduced to family planning. It is very, very important that they are taught about family planning, that they get to know stuffs about family planning. You know, I wouldn't want any of my teenager friends to have 12 children. No, 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 no. That would be too much, and that would be so much on them.
But as for the aspect of contraceptives, I think it's quite dangerous because they might misuse it, and these drugs usually have side effects. So yes or no?
Then, about being introduced to contraceptive, I think that is very wrong. That is unhealthy because these contraceptives, they have side effects. And then at the young age of 13, 14, 15, before they are even 18, they started using contraceptives to prevent them from teenage pregnancy. Before they get to 18, they must have had a whole bulk of a side effect on them because of the use of these contraceptives. So I think it's very dangerous to introduce teenagers to contraceptives. Teach them about family planning. Teach them about how to keep themselves, make themselves whole, and then they'll just be excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sticking around. This is still Teens Time. And like I told you earlier, this show is where we are bringing controversy on your screen. In a good way, don't be scared. We are talking about female genital mutilation. And I wanted to try to read the definition, but I think I'm just going to pause and allow my guests to do the whole work, practically do the whole work. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to Teens Time with Chichi, Mr. Raymond. I call you Ambassador Raymond. You are actually Ambassador, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Raymond Dokwa, and I'm the country ambassador for the Girl Generation. And the Girl Generation, we work in 10 African countries, particularly focusing on female genital mutilation.
Okay.
And it's now a global controversy. You know, we talk about FGM, and FGM is the partial total removal of the external female genital organ.
Can you break it down a bit for the layman, the people who don't understand the big English that you just use? Just break it down.
Yeah, in some places they call it circumcision. So we try not to use the word circumcision because it's not actually circumcision; it's mutilation. So circumcision is beneficial, to the male child. But when you circumcise a girl child, it is not beneficial to her. And so that's why we are advocating against, the continuance of most of these cultures and all that. So just in the layman's language, FGM is, cutting the clitoris, the labia of the baby girl, and also, in some cultures, they stitch it up, they stitch up the vagina and the rest of them. So this is basically the layman's, idea of female genital mutilation.
Okay, to be sincere with you, I used to think these were like some cooked up stories that people talk about and just want to fight over things that don't matter. until a teenager sent me a message. I think it was last year, and she said, "Auntie Chichi, blah blah blah. I've been." She used the word circumcised. You know that she was circumcised, and she asked some very interesting questions that I couldn't answer. I have not experienced it. It was sad. She was 18 as of last year, and she said, Auntie Chichi, my friends are saying I won't be able to have children. These were questions she was asking me because I'm circumcised. I won't be able to have children. I won't be able to enjoy sex and blah, blah, blah. She was not planning on, like sex, not for now, but the fear of maybe not having a child into the future and all that. So that was when I realized, okay, this thing is actually real. And then I had to post it online, and a friend, someone also said, yes, yes, on her.
Yeah, people usually think is maybe the practice of the old and the rest
Exactly.
of them. But, unfortunately,
Wow.
even in 2018,
Wow.
babies are still being caught. And let's not throw it, long, into, distant lands. As close as, Imo State, as close as on those states, as close as Ocean states, these states are it's like as close as a Boeing state. So it's not it's pretty like a Boeing state, which are closer to us, and most of them do it as a rite of passage. And that is the problem. It is happening now. It is happening, and every other year we estimate that about 3 million girls or children are going to experience genital mutilation.
3 million.
3 million every year. And shockingly,
Wow.
we're just giving like a bulk, until WHO last week confirmed 3.9 million. That's about
Wow.
900,000
In Nigeria or the world.
in the world. So that means in every roughly 15 seconds, as we're talking now, a girl is being mutilated either in the Gambia or in Nigeria here and the rest of them. It's a rite of passage in some places. And, I'm sorry I'm running too fast, but I have to tell you that in some places, there are 4 types of FGM. One is called clitoridectomy, where they just cut off the clitoris, because the reasons is that they don't want the girl to have high libidos and the rest of them. The type 2 is called excision, where they cut off the labia, and then because they want to beautify the vagina
How?
as close as that is mostly done in Imo State. And then the third one is called infibulation, where they stitch up the vagina, and when the girl is about to get married, they will cut her open again.
Please don't say
and
that.
And the rest of them.
They will cut it when she's an adult.
Yes, when she's an
Is that not
adult.
painful?
In Cross River State, when they are
Oh my
getting ready to get married, they try as much as possible to they call it partnering room.
I think I just developed
take
a
them into
headache.
take them into the partnering room, cut them, and then give them a lot of meats and all that. So there are a lot of things still going on, isn't even today.
Okay, Raymond, I need to cut you here. Are these things still happening? I mean, 2018.
I just told you like in the last 15 seconds something happened. So that's happening in 2018. That's happening in 2018.
Wow. Like, I just developed headache listening to you. I mean, it is crazy.
Yes, it is. But there are lots of things that could be attributed.
Yes,
to that.
I wanted to come. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you that. What I mean, this is the information age where people are being informed on a daily basis. Even the ones in the village, they are being informed like on a through the different social media handles, through radio, TV. There are people are beginning to be more informed.
Yeah, it's about.
Before, but what has still made a lot of my parents to say this? I'm bent neck. I'm like I'm gonna keep doing this.
Before we start interventions, we actually look at so we actually do surveys and ask questions why why they are still doing most of what they're doing, and then most of the times they think most of them say my mother was mutilated, and so I'm going to mutilate my
That's crap.
daughter. And the rest of them. So most of them do not have necessarily tangible reasons why they are doing it. I was writing a report on when the woman walked in and asked me, are they still doing this in God forbid? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
That because then she saw the extreme form of it, and then she said that the only thing they did to her was to cut off the clitoris, and then she did it to her daughter, that her granddaughter, and then she
Her
expects
granddaughter.
yes.
That child shouldn't be up to 5.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe even below, 0 to 9 days, they will cut the girl and the rest of them. So it is still happening. And it's as a result of culture. And then we believe that, when we are handing over culture, what we've learned from our parents, we have to also give it down to our children. And most men are so bent on the issues of culture. They have decision makers, whether the grandmothers or the mothers or the men. So they're bent on passing down the culture. But I keep saying this: culture doesn't make people. People make the culture.
Exactly.
And so when we find that,
I know people are going to fight us for saying this.
Yes. So people, culture didn't come one day and started producing humans. People, people came together and decided to have things that will rule their lives, and they called it culture. So when we find out the culture is not beneficial to us again, then we need to end it. And that's where we are today.
Absolutely. Okay, I read something here. Nigeria, due to its large population, has the highest number of female genital mutilation worldwide.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes, because of population, we have over 190 million, on statistical, but then we have to check the growth, the birth rates and the rest of them. So we found out that Nigeria is almost hitting 189 million, and the rest of them. But in Nigeria, about roughly 20 million women have undergone and survived female genital mutilation. Yeah, 20
This
million.
is unbelievable.
So because of the large population, so it's not that it's done, but because of the large population of Nigeria, that's why we have close to the highest.
Wow. Okay, I read another thing. They said despite the fact some states have passed into law, it is still difficult to fight or stop. So that means there are states that have actually said, okay, no more, don't do this.
Yeah, one thing about law is that when you look at the issues of law, there's, we have criminal codes and the rest of them in this country that would criminalize you if you steal. So if you go to somebody's house and break through the person's house, they will catch you. You either go to prison or something. Doesn't necessarily mean people are not breaking into people's houses. So there's one thing about there is a law, but it's a personal decision not to break into somebody's house. So the same thing with female genital mutilation. The last assignment Goodluck Jonathan did when he was about to leave office was to sign what we call the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. That's what criminalizes female genital mutilation. But there are loopholes in acts like that. Only the Federal High Court can prosecute the law. So we need states to domesticate this law,
okay,
and then so that it can be applicable in the states. But that's not where it ends. Ever since we have the law, even at the federal level, how many people have been prosecuted for female genital mutilation? Nobody. Nobody has been prosecuted for it. Nobody has even reported.
Why?
Because, of course, it is done in secrecy. These are things just under the rug. So, in as much as there is law, there has to be
someone to speak up.
Somebody to speak up. And then beyond speaking up, of course, it's just like in issues of rape, for example, like in Western cultures, when the issue of rape, it's a capital punishment. So nobody wants to be responsible for a kind of capital punishment to maybe a brother or an uncle who raped a child, for example. So the same thing goes to this. If you report maybe an adolescent, a teenager who was supposed to be mutilated during your long break and all that, and then you go to report your mother, so which home are you going back to in the first place? So because of this fear, people wouldn't want to report cases like that and all that. And then even if you report it and take it to the police, they'll tell you it's not their work. So there needs to be orientations from the parents, from the society, from the traditional rulers. There has to be a kind of agreement, and such things are happening. And that is one of the progresses we are making in a country like Nigeria. For example, in Izi clan in Ebonyi State, the clan a girl ran away because of maybe she was taught in school about the harms of FGM. So when it was about to be performed on her last year, she ran away.
How old?
I think she's 15 or thereabouts.
I don't get this.
Yeah, she's 15. So she ran away, and there was an intervention from the joint program, UNICEF UNFPA joint program, and they married them back to their families. So the entire clan decided to stop FGM because of one girl.
One girl. So somebody has to stand up.
Yeah, somebody has to stand up. Maybe if one girl's run away.
Exactly.
If one girl's run away.
If you are running away, just run into safe hands.
Yeah, run into safe hands and the rest.
Speak up. I'm going to put your details on the, so that some girls can reach out to you and say, okay, this is happening in my community, and I hope you are ready to work.
That's our work. We are trying as much as possible to get more information. But beyond that, what of the girls who are just 8 days old? They can't run away. But these are the girls who are going to be mutilated. These are the girls who are going to be stitched up.
12 teenagers, one house, 3 months, 1 year. Teens Time Exchange coming soon. Follow at 19 Chichi on social media platform. For sponsorship details, send an email to chichiteens@yahoo.com.
Okay, what are some of the myths of when people meet you and they say, okay, I've been mutilated, just like the girl that asked me if she will be able to have a baby. And so what are some of the fears of some of these people that have already undergone this?
Yes.
And help me dilute it, if it's real or not real.
Okay, let's look at why it is done. Most people believe during childbirth, like in some Yoruba cultures, and some people in Igbo too, they believe that when during childbirth, if the clitoris touches the head of the baby dies. That is a myth. So, and people they were not mutilated have given birth to.
I have 4.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Have given birth and the children are not dead.
Exactly.
So that not necessarily means that it is not true, and the rest of them. And they also believe, the girl be promiscuous, should be sleeping around because, clitoris is the sensitive part of, a woman and the rest of them. But I've seen women who did not sleep around and all that. And let's take the statistics of, the commercial sex workers. Because maybe there was like what do you call it? There was a survey we did, and a question and answer sessions, and then we found out most of the girls who are commercial sex workers, some of them are mutilated. But a large majority of them are mutilated.
Really?
So and because people are all craving for sexual satisfaction,
Sure.
and the rest of them.
Yeah, I know a friend. The friend that reached out to me when I posted it on Facebook after the girl asked me a question. She said, because I had to ask her, I said, okay, tell me about the sexual satisfaction. She said she struggles. It's a struggle,
Yeah.
So what they are trying to actually do is it works the opposite way.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. And we have to tell ourselves the truth. Women are talking to women. So a woman who is not mutilated, goes to an August meeting and shares maybe, women are talking and tells you how she enjoys her husband, all these things and the rest of them. Women are having those conversations, and then you're telling her, I don't feel what you feel, and maybe my husband is not doing right. But the problem might not be about the husband. It might be about what has been done on you and the rest of them. So there are several interventions we are trying to do. I'm trying to do a psychological review for most of them that have gone through the practice and all that. It's still a new program because we have to also understand the cultural differences in the country before we can do interventions and the rest of them. But there has to be an acceptability a phase of this entire thing. Let people accept that they want to stop the practice first of all. Then we can look for the basic ways to help them, because a lot of women are infertile. Of course, recently I had the chat with the medical director at the VVF center in Ebonyi State.
Okay.
And then he's doing reconstructive surgery of most of those girls most of the women that have UVF. Because when you cut the labia and the woman is trying to push out baby, there could be these long obstructed labors and the rest of them. So when it's not done properly, it either tears into the anus or tears into the urethra and the rest of them. So what the vagina is created to be was to be a place that God created to function in several spaces. Where when you're giving birth, the labia are supposed to expand to accommodate, the baby's head coming out and the rest of them. And even the myth of, the clitoris touching the baby's head. When you are pushing, the clitoris actually moves up, and not necessarily there's no how it can touch the head of the baby. So these are all things we've come to believe that we need to also start debunking from our minds, and then stop passing to get down these infertility issues, because when the labias are cut, the vagina is quite open, and then infections could get in to even to the point where it can cause infertility to the woman. So we need to keep looking at this, the merits of this thing, rather than try to bank on culture.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Like I am short of words. I really don't, because it's something that should have been thrown away long ago. It shouldn't even exist in this 21st century.
There's something you mentioned about people are informed now, but according to statistics, only 32% of people living in urban areas, which we believe people living in urban areas are educated, are cutting their daughters, opposed to 19% in rural areas. So we have people who are learned still practicing FGM, opposed to people who are in the rural area, because rural areas are learning and then they're debunking. What they are doing is that, okay, since you say it shouldn't be done by traditional cut and let's take them to the hospital for
really, and the hospitals will do that.
Some doctors will collect money, which is against the medical ethics.
Oh Lord.
So in as much as we are fighting the court, we're not fighting, we are advocating and the abandonment in rural areas. But we are also starting to notice the issues of medicalization of FGM and the rest of them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. And I don't know if you need to talk to some parents. I don't know.
Yes, I think I'll just throw these last things out. I'm a young man, and I'm advocating for my daughter tomorrow. I'm advocating for my wife. I'm advocating for my grandchild who's going to be a girl. And I think it's time for us to come to a level where we understand that some of these belief systems and cultures are no longer helping us, and it's time for us to find a way and do away with these things. Our girls will live healthier if we give them good education. And necessarily, if we talk to them about sexuality, then we can, find a way to curb the issues of promiscuity. Because even if you mutilate them, they still go behind you without telling you to have sex.
True.
So you didn't end up. Let me not delve into most of this story. So let's try our best, to give our daughters the opportunities to grow and grow healthily, so that when they can give you the grandchildren you're always expecting and the rest of them, because most of these things will harm their health, will harm their psychology and all that. So thank you.
12 teenagers, 1 house, 3 months, 1 year. Teens Time Exchange, coming soon. Follow at 19Chichi on social media platform. For sponsorship details, send an email to chichiteens@yahoo.com.
Thank you so much. So, to sum it up, you said these things it affects their health.
Affects their health.
Even the things that we are trying to do to make them maybe not to be promiscuous, it ends up pushing them
towards that area because they want to also experience sexual satisfaction.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my friend that I told, she has 2 kids and she said she struggles. A lot of her friends that have been mutilated, they are very promiscuous. That's what from first-hand information from a friend that was mutilated as a little girl. So parents, please, we need to, this culture, forgive me, I'm not trying to fight culture, we are not trying to, but we need to reorientate ourselves. There are certain things that, the generation before us, they did, that are not alterable anymore. Like, we need to throw them out of the window. Yeah. With all due respect, I know a lot of people will say, okay, you have no right to talk, but please, we need to do away with some of these cultures and, educate. Sex education, like you mentioned, is the in thing. Let's talk to our girls. Once they are well informed about their sexuality and all that, they will live it. They will be more careful and they would, they won't dabble into things they're not supposed to dabble. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Feel free, to reach out to him. His details are on the screen. Feel free to reach out to him, and also, reach out to me. You know how to do that. Until we come your way next time, this is Teens Time, and I would love to hear from you. And trust me, you can become whatever you want to become. Just believe in yourself. Bye.